Hey, what is up, YouTube? Something a little bit different today. This is an interview that I did for a podcast called the Guitar Pick Chronicles. This is an edited version, so if you would like to see the full interview with me, you can go to the link in the description and check out the full interview. We go pretty deep into my background, and it's a really good chat because the interviewer, Chase, he also went to jazz school like I did, and we go right down that rabbit hole. So if you're after a geeky music conversation, this is the one for you. As I say, there's a different type of content for my channel, and it's quite weird for me to feature an interview of myself.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
But if you're into full-blown music nerd talk, I think you'll dig it. All right, enjoy.
Andrew Rooney, thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here, man.
So I was reading a little bit about you and your musical background. I saw that you have a music degree. Is that right?
Yeah, I went to Auckland University.
And was that in drum performance or?
Yeah, well, that was, there's no drum degree as such here. It was a jazz performance.
Oh, jazz performance degree.
But my instrument was drums. Yeah.
So I went to music school as well. I was a classical guitar major in college. I'm curious, what did you, were you surprised by anything when you went to music school?
I think my overall takeaway from doing the entire course and going in quite green, and you come out and you're supposedly a professional musician. I think my overall takeaway was that I went in thinking the course was going to get me good. So my mindset was, I'm not very good now. I'm going to do this course. I'm going to spend 3 years doing that course, and then when I come out, I'll be really good. But the course only gives you a vehicle to potentially get good, and you're the one who has to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's one of the I remember when I started, I remember having a conversation with my guitar teacher about, he asked me, he said, well, why did you decide to come to this college? And I said, well, in the U.S., it was in-state, so it was cheaper, and I said, I really wanted to go to like Juilliard or Berkeley, but I just couldn't afford it. And he said, well, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Like, if you go to Juilliard and you basically the entire time, you're not going to be magically better than somebody here. All the music you're going to study is the same music. Well,
that seems so obvious now, man, but it's not when you're going in, right?
It's not. And I always found that, I remember when he said that, I thought, oh yeah, like, it's not like, Bach's cello suite changes from school to school. Like, it's not like one school has the hard version and one school has the easy version. So the reason I ask that is because I feel like I went into music school thinking, oh, we're going to play music all the time, and it's going to be easy. And I thought that it was super demanding.
I feel like it's possibly an easy course to get the degree, but getting something out of it is a whole different thing. Yeah. You could probably go there and just get by, and you got the degree, but you didn't do a lot, if that makes sense. You can flake off a little bit and probably get through.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought that was a pretty invaluable experience. When you teach, because I know you teach too, when you teach, do you how much of what you teach is stuff that you learned there, and how much of it is stuff that you sort of feel like you've picked up from your own experience?
I would say, well, it's obviously going to be a combination of both, but I feel like I've got pretty good empathy as a teacher. So, and most of my students are not with all due respect to my students, they're not even close to that kind of dedication.
Yeah.
I'll use that word. So, I mean, you would have seen, people, most of the people who have spent the money and the time to go to music school, man, it's pretty full on, man. I mean, you've basically I looked at it as if I'd put my life on hold for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be doing anything else. Music. And my students are not like that, man. Well, not all of them. A lot of them are just there for a bit of fun. Some of them are there because it's their Tuesday activity, and on Wednesday they go to soccer, and Tuesday's drums, and the rest of the week is Fortnite and Minecraft.
Right. That's funny.
And then you get some who are just fully into it, and they want to go to music school, and they want to be a pro, and that. So you get a whole range. And I think a big realization for me, and I know other friends who are teachers have said the same, was when they got out of that school environment, they were disappointed because their students weren't as desperate. Yeah. You've got to be so desperate, man. And you think, oh, what am I doing wrong? I must be such a bad teacher because this guy can't play this Max Roach drum solo after 2 weeks. I'm a terrible drum teacher. And it's like, man, this guy hasn't even practiced for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because that was one of the reasons that I feel like I was never good at being a teacher. I feel like when I got out of music school, I sort of expected every student to want to learn that way. Yeah. And because I enjoyed that so much, I enjoyed the minutia of trying to figure out, like, with classical guitar anyway, it was, how can I shape my fingernails differently so that when, the string hits the nail, it has the right, trigger point and all this different stuff. And and most people learning guitar, like, I want to learn how to play, this Green Day song.
Smoke on the Water.
Yeah. And so they don't give a shit about fingernail shape, and stuff like that. And so
no. And I want to, like, I can understand, I might get a 55-year-old CEO of a company who comes in and that's his chill out time, man. He doesn't have time to do 10 hours a day of drums, and he doesn't want to. Yeah. But also I can't, I can't lay all that on him either. But I do feel like I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing my teaching. So if someone is coming in for fun and escape, their hectic life, I can go with that. Yeah. And we'll learn Don't Stop Believing, and they are just over the moon, man. Like they've done it, they've cracked it. That's what they wanted. But I'm also can switch into uni mode, and I can just whiplash them for years, and we can do that as well. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, that.
Yeah. I mean, I was at uni, man, like going back, when I look at myself, I would arrive at the school when the doors opened. Yeah. Which was 8 from memory. I think if I caught the early bus, I could arrive there at 8 a.m. in the morning. And I would typically, if I didn't have a gig, I would leave at 11 p.m. Wow. The year before I started, they had no time limits. If you had a swipe card, it was 24 hours. So people were staying there, would take a sleeping bag and just stay in the practice rooms. I do find now the curse is when you're at a gig and things aren't what you would expect them to be. It can be difficult. It can be difficult, man, because you just think, dude, what are you doing? Like, how can you not hear that? Come on. In various different regards, either professionalism or just your conduct on the stage, or that little hit in the song, it's not on the beat, dude, it's on the offbeat.
Yeah.
And like we're missing it every single time. And So I think in that way it can be a curse. Overall, it's a huge blessing because you can just learn things so quickly, and you can just grab a transcription. I do a lot of theater work, and a lot of that, I mean, people wouldn't even believe you, but you just turn up and half the time you just read through the show. You've never even seen the music, and people just wouldn't believe that.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of a working musician.
Yeah,
man.
you don't have time to sit around and learn music all the time.
No. I think that would be one of the biggest things people don't realize is the lack of time you get. When, as you progress, your time window just shrinks to nothing. And in the end, you're playing more than you're practicing.
Yeah.